advising and taxing. I definitely thought we'd see Timinator or Runebogler. So maybe Runebogler not really going very far is a thing that struck me as a... And it's not a negative, because somebody wins and somebody loses, but I definitely thought, wow, that's a little bit different. You know, that's something that I wasn't expecting to see today. But we have this week started.
And we see the same thing again. Clutch is building the power in the somewhat not really default place. He's building it horizontally, so he's needing some pipes, but they are in the starting kit. And Rez is chopping wood to place the direct power plant again.
Okay.
So same advantages and disadvantages as last time, I would say.
Do we expect any deviation from Raslington? Or do we think he's just going to go balls to the wall, I'm doing it again, you have to deal with it kind of playstyle?
Oh, he isn't. He is... Oh no, he's placing the power plant there?
It's a really terrible coal patch, I'm going to be honest.
And one miner is like 500 coal.
Oh no.
That will run out in... what? I mean, it's lowest priority, so maybe it's fine, but it's technically out in 16 minutes.
Yeah. I would have gone for a reroll on this map if I'm being honest. But both of the players need to agree on a reroll, so... And apparently Lower Dark joins us in chat. Welcome, Lower Dark. Spurious claims about your heritage have been debated in the last couple of minutes. I backed you, mate. I had you back. If somebody called you German, Jesus. So yeah, Traxorian himself. I know, where did Trax go? Trax used to be everywhere. I used to be like, man, can I play a game without Trax? And then Trax just disappeared, so it's nice to have you back, Trax. So yeah, early game. Sorry, I'm meandering away. We're in a grand final, so let's lock it in. Raslington went for, if I remember correctly, ammo rush, a decent sized defensive line, turret rush, no research really, the last game we watched him play. He's also currently streaming as well. Voice chat on BB. I don't know what that means.
I think it's just
the
streaming
group chat.
PV, no chat, interaction, no talking, nothing.
Oh,
But if you want to see his PV all the time, go over there.
No, I'm all good.
And we are... No, I mean the chat. And we are seeing the same strats, I think, right? Because Clutch played gate rush, I think, like defending and then going into a gate rush.
Yeah.
And yeah, as I said before, I think there was no real rushes in the upper bracket, and there were a lot of rushes and successful rushes in the lower bracket. So we're gonna see some clashes of strategies here.
Yeah, and Raslington's been successful by kind of just forcing the game to just increase, you know, kind of almost out of control early on. So I wonder if Clutch has got some kind of counterplay to that. I wonder if... Oh, hi Freak, nice to see you. Greetings from Germany. Hallo, mein Freund. That's all I know.
Well, you lied. Oh, I was just gonna say you lied about your German because it sounds quite well.
I was told I sound like a redneck when I speak German, and I'm not even kidding. So, yeah, it's nice to hear from a German person. It doesn't sound too bad, but I don't know much. I don't claim to know much anyway. Clutch is now moving on to starting to get called up and running. The power plant is quite far away. He's going to have to draw a very large belt all the way down. Clutch is up against Raslington, who is currently streaming as well. He's on Twitch too. So if you want a POV of the southern player, you'll be able to jump onto their stream. We're going to bounce between both sides, so we can get a look at both sides, but it tends to be the case that one side is under pressure through like high percentage threat, and so we just end up, you know, zooming in on them for a little bit. But I like what I see though. Early copper from Clutch. Raslington, lots of iron lines coming in. I think we expected 3, didn't we? I think he went for 3 half iron lines to begin with.
Yeah, 3 half iron lines and then added copper.
Yeah.
And looks like he's gonna do the same again. And Clutch builds, I'm not quite sure. He builds like 15 miners into 36 furnace.
Yeah, that's not going to sustain, is it?
Interesting. Maybe it's future plan? Not sure. And yeah, Rez with the early send, right?
100, and that's the first shot fired at 4 minutes in.
And that means Clutch has to set up turrets, which he already did, to defend some attacks.
It's interesting as well because this map is quite open, and we've seen in previous maps they're quite dense forests which protect or filter the bugs through, split up the waves. It seems to me like there's some really open, expansive areas here where if there is like a large wave, they have all the space in the world to kind of wind and twist and come
And
down
that will
onto you.
definitely be advantage for the attacker, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So if they keep the same strats, what we think, it will benefit Raz, I think.
Yeah, I think so too. And it's going to be, and to cover that amount of space with, as another send of 58 goes through, to cover that size and scale of this open front, he's currently top 5 in any percent speedrun. So Radlington goes fat. This according to my viewers.
Take that with a big grain of salt.
Okay.
Radlington is on a, I think, 20-month grind for any percent.
Oh wow. Holy crap.
And like, if you want to bet on who's gonna hold the any percent world record in the next year,
It'll be Radlington, do you think?
I think he has the, like, any day when he runs, he could world record on any run.
Ah, okay, right. So he's quite a talented speedrunner as well.
He's super dedicated, super fast,
Got you,
super
okay.
clean, and has a long grind, which is really awesome to see.
That's nice to know. Yeah, it's the one thing I really like about this tournament, and also I found a little bit of it with the last one, was that we as a Bite Battles community, we do spread out, and lots of people play like Mountain and Fortress, and there's other people that play, the MMP speedruns and all that jazz, but it's really nice to see that there's interconnectivity between the different communities. We can have speedrunners come and play our game, we get involved in some of the live speedruns, etc. I'm going to say this now, I'm going to try really hard to learn how to speedrun. That's going to be my New Year's resolution. I'm not going to be very good, so please don't log in for like a high quality performance, but yeah, I want to see if I can spread my wings a little bit and try something out that's new. So I might need some help. I might need a guide. If anybody knows of a video series or if there's like a document out there of how to get good, I'd be more than happy.
Depends on what you want to run. Like, as a speedrun community, we have lots of guide, and one quite popular for the most popular category, any percent. So just come over to this Discord and ask. You will get a lot of help and stuff. But remember, same as everything else, factory related, it's a time sink.
Yeah, big time. Yeah. I'm looking forward to it. Step 1, get Adderall. Oh dear. Raslington is throwing the evolution of North up very high early on. 7 minutes in and we're at 9.7%. Almost touching 10. With Wave now sweeping in to Clutch's science area. I don't think
That's the pressure. That's the pressure he hasn't felt yet.
Yeah.
So 1 grenade down. Like last time we counted grenades.
Yes, very
and it's
good.
like
And I think
8 minutes in,
too.
1 grenade down.
Raslington is researching this time. Only automation though.
Yeah, automation and gun turrets he did last time
Got
as
you,
well,
got
but
you.
he didn't get grenades, which is a gamble, I would say.
Very much a gamble. Do you think that a player like Raslington, and I'm not calling this game, I'm just putting it out there as a question, if Raslington loses game 1, and it's because of something like grenades or something like that he could have maybe worked on earlier but didn't in order to go and pursue a different strategy, do you think that he will change for game 2 and 3? Or do you think he'll just try and refine and tweak the timings of his... Do you know what I mean? Do you think he's adaptable enough? Or do you think this is it, I'm doing this and that's it?
He's super adaptable. I'm not sure if he has put the time in.
Okay.
That's my main...
So plan B is not as strong as plan A, effectively.
I'm not sure if he has a plan B, or if he has to adapt on the fly, which is... Well, it's best of 3, so you can lose a game and still win, right? But maybe he just goes for better timings. But I agree with him now, being super aggressive on this wide open map and with the scale, and with Clutch not facing the rush. Like, I'm not 100% certain when I claim that, but I think it is true. And please correct me, but...
I think for him to get to gates most of his games, He may have survived small pushes, but I don't remember a game where he was having constant aggression, you know, where it's like ascend every minute.
And now there's like 3 waves on top already, right? That's... He's
and
losing a
we
turret.
see a turret go down as well.
He's not used to that. And Rez is sending fish again. He's spying on his opponent.
A bit of scouting.
Can I
as
push
well.
more? Can I not put more? Yeah.
Oh, hey Auntie, nice to have you in the chat. And hello Silent Sweeper, thanks for joining us. Yeah, Auntie, you don't need to adapt a lot for nades, you can totally do that. So yeah, so maybe, and I'm not saying that, it was close last game because he ended up down to 1, but Ness was overwhelmed. I'm just thinking now, you know, at that, and I want to say 30-minute mark because Pitta guessed it almost perfectly, but when it becomes too much, when the pot starts to boil over, and we do see things start to go down, you know, you can't be everywhere, you can't spread yourself too thin in terms of defense, so yeah, it'll be an interesting one to see if Raslington gets a little bit of aggression back, if he can survive and can sustain, because if Clutch is allowed to, and sorry if I'm monologuing here for a little bit, but if Clutch is allowed to get to gates, that will drastically increase the pace of the game for Raz, and I don't think Raz has experienced that yet in this tournament, so that could be a bit of a throwing him off a little bit. Sorry, voice is going.
Yeah, he's like, I totally agree. They both haven't faced the other timings and spread.
Yeah.
But Clutch is feeling it now. Reslington only later, right? So maybe Reslington doesn't even have to feel it because he already won. So yeah, I'm always going with the rush first if it's clean. Because
if you're playing this tournament and you're making it all the way to a final and then a best of 3 is in front of you, and I'm overanalyzing this potentially, but do you think that some mental fatigue can come into this? Do you think that having played maybe 5 games or 6 games, especially if they're longer, I mean, I know that Raz probably hasn't played long games because they end quite quickly, but let's say for instance Clutch's total playtime today is like 6 hours, and then you have to play a best of 3? Do you think that could play a part maybe?
I think 6 hours is a normal beta battle, like a online beta battle,
yeah,
right?
To be fair,
so
there is
fine, right?
The thing is, what you don't understand is how brainless most of us are. when you get to the end of the game, your brain is like soup. Or mine is anyway, because I've had to do quite a lot. But it's not easy to carry games, so I guess most people don't know how that feels.
Yeah, if you super deep into it, it's hard. But we see like Clutch is not sending a thing, and therefore Reslington says, oh, should I place 5 turrets or should I send 5 turrets?
Yeah.
Like with 2% you send, right? He has, with his strat, he has always the option to either put down turrets and ammo or send turrets and ammo.
That's a good point,
and if you don't pressure him at all, you're gonna get the whole force of the rush. And that's, yeah, let's see.
So Chriso is asked in chat, and thanks for joining us, Chriso. We're in the final of the 1v1 tournament. The rocket silo in the middle of the map is the main objective that you have to defend, and equally so, you want your opposition player, whoever you're up against, to lose theirs to waves and waves and waves of bugs that come into the map and begin to attack your base. You can pump the strength of the bugs up by sending items to the other side, and that will influence the strength of the bugs and how many bugs that there are as well. So there are different strategies and builds and different sciences and technologies that you have to unlock in order to build bigger items, stronger items, that will affect the mutagen or the evolution, the strength of the bugs. And as we can see here, if you look on the top left hand side, North are dealing with 16.3% bugs, which are quite strong, and the South are only having to fight 2.5%, because this southern player, Raslington, is employing a very rushing, speedy strategy of sending really cheap items, and lots of them all the time, whereas Clutch is having to deal and defend with very strong bugs for this time period, as well as building their factory and also researching deeper into the tech tree. If you have any other questions, feel free to ask. Apologies, Pitta, I've just kind of monologued there, but I thought if we've got a new person in the game, then I thought I'd just explain at the very beginning of game 1 what this is all about.
Yeah. Also, really, really nice. Just like I scooped through some research. Clutch didn't go for nades as well, but goes for ammo damage because he defends with that. But
interesting.
Rez sent a lot of stuff. Now the next attack is gonna be huge because it's 80%, 1,200 threat, and he has turrets with yellow ammo.
Yeah.
And the research which he invested isn't done yet. So yeah, let's see. There's the warning. Medium spitters, medium spiders on North team. Let's see how many attacks will be there. And if Clutch needs to use more grenades. He's down to 6. That's that's frightening.
That is frightening. At the same time too, the damage, you're investing quite heavily into an item which you could also throw.
Exactly.
Fatigue is a hoax. Sorry, Antis is written. Fatigue. So, experience, I can tell you best. Stick with what you're good at. We've been down 0-1 in 3v3 best of 3 finals, and we kept to the plan in games 2 and 3 and won the match with small adjustments. Kicking your plan completely over is usually not the way to go, and I absolutely agree to that point. When I play captain's games, very different obviously to 1v1s and 3v3s, my job is to dislodge the opposition's game plan by employing a certain tactic or method, like threat farming for instance, that forces the opposition to scout me, look at what I'm doing, and then adapt. And by doing so, you're throwing people out of their rhythm, what they normally do. And I say, in fact, the last captain's game I played, in the first 10 minutes I even mentioned this. I say, look, someone's going to try and react to this, they're going to get it wrong, and then they're going to be out of sync with how we play and what their plans are. And it worked, actually. We won that game off the back of the threat farm. Bit of a side point there, but I do agree with you. You should stick to the plan. You know, unless
it
the plan
depends on how well is your plan trained, thought out, and how well is your second plan laid out, right? If you have
very good point.
2 very good threats, you can choose, but if you aim and train for one, you should stick to it, of course. Yeah.
Big time. Yeah. It's interesting. I mean, Clutch to me. So Clutch used to play on the MCP stack, which was Mystic Amber, Clutch, and Pipes, I believe. So they're used to playing organized, team-based, you know, very structured, plan-based. So do you think that someone like Clutch has done a lot of research or planning going into this, or do you think he's playing on instinct? So
I mean, he has a lot of knowledge from public battle battles, competitive battle battles. Maybe he plays a lot of instinct, but I don't know. Like, you never know how much somebody is in a training session or
That's
like doing spreadsheet work. You don't see that, right?
Yeah.
So
let's see.
I don't know.
Would chat, or would anybody out there like us to interview the winner? I think that would be quite interesting. I'd like to interview the loser too, but the loser might not want to talk because they've just lost the final. So I don't want to just put a microphone in front of somebody's face when they're not very happy and ask them to talk to me about why they're not very happy. But I might do that. I might see if the winner wants to talk, just a brief minute or two, just to say, hey man, how's it going? How do you feel? And what were your plans? Kind of thing. Do I think we can win this without a polished build order?
Oh, cute attack or not?
Massive attack. You've got to use a grenade or two. 2 more down though.
2 more, grenades down, damage on turrets, damage on walls, like on furnace walls. Yeah, I'm not quite aware on timings, which is bad. Not knowing what the exact timings are and all, but it looks worrying, to be honest.
Yeah, is Razling, is he expanding, or is he just kind of sitting with... Because we see this all the time, this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7... 11 length block of turrets, gears, and yellow ammo, and just chest being filled. He seems like he's just chilling at the moment. It's probably not chilling, obviously, but there's not a huge amount of kind of expansion going on here from Raz.
Raz, he went up to 4 lanes and sent a lot. Nothing else currently.
And 189 yellow mags going across. North is now dealing with 23%, and surely the way that you beat this is either match him or ignore and go forward. And I'll tell you what, let's in game, at the end of the game, I'll ask the winner if they want to have a quick chat and say hello. I don't think Raslington's really he's been safe every game. If I'm an opposition player, I would kind of want to test that a little bit. You don't know what people are like until they're under severe pressure, like brain-breaking pressure. So Raz had some pressure, but it got to a point where if Ness had hung on for 10 minutes, the game would have flung back and Raz would have been under pressure. But
Like last game, Rez had pressure a lot. He dealt quite well with it, but he had a
oh
lot
no,
of
he
pressure.
did, didn't he? With the power, he lost a couple of really important things early on. Yeah, no, you're right.
Yeah, he lost like 2 minutes of production at like minute 7
Yeah,
or so. Like
that's true.
there were some issues. And now again, big attacks on North. Is there enough ammo? Is there enough furnaces?
It's starting to run low, and there's definitely gaps in this furnace wall that will allow them directly on top of your.
I think he has to spend some grenades again.
Look at the waves. That's relentless.
Oh,
That's
it's
5.
Pitta's only. Yeah, still 1 grenade down again. Another one.
At this point, you've got to sacrifice the turrets, right? Just to hold on to those probably hopefully game-saving grenades. Let's have a look at the research queue. Steel on the north.
He's on the way to the gate, which also goes somewhat over grenades, but he's not at it, right? There's like semi-automated signs, very bad power for Clutch, because he's pulling coal off the coal belt and starving power.
Oh no.
That hurts.
Yeah, I've just spotted that. That's horrific.
Ah.
More than half of your power is yet to be fed. The burner inserters feed themselves, and then they feed the boilers.
And then you get less coal, and
Yeah, that's.
and now he's
unfortunate.
picking coal. Is he feeding coal to power?
Do you have any waves coming in?
Nah. Oh.
Has he seen this? What's green now? It's bounced back.
Yeah, but now there's like no coal on the belt,
Yeah.
so it's gonna be red in a
It's gonna be
second.
And you can't have
And
the
he's
power.
automating ammo. He's automating ammo,
Oh,
which is
okay. Ammo belt. Interesting. We haven't seen this from Clutch, I don't think.
now he sees the issue. It's
Ah.
blinking red, so he should look at it.
Red for danger,
Don't-
guys.
Don't just hand feed coal there. Now you have issues in 2 minutes again. Don't.
I can hear the anxiety, the speedrunner anxiety coming out.
That's not gonna save.
This is normal for a
Yeah.
Biter Battles player. We're very used to it being completely
Yeah.
shit. You kind of, you know, one of those like, I was born in the terrible play.
Yeah.
I see this every day, you know. I've seen people ruin 4-hour games by just unplugging power at the worst moment. And you're like,
Let me
yep,
rebuild
that's Biter
this."
Battles.
Right? Yeah, but a lot of pressure still, like
Yes, yeah.
a lot of attacks.
So
More
far,
standing.
and I don't want to jinx it, touch wood obviously, but so far, relatively well defended in terms of they're not getting in and chewing up belts and other things. So, you know, a couple of stone furnaces that you can put, you know, say RIP to. Maybe the odd turret every now and again. But generally speaking, Clutch is not thriving, but surviving, I think I'd say.
Well, Clutch is down to no grenades.
Yeah, true. Very true. And these waves are relentless. They're literally just coming every 30 seconds. There's just another full wave of bugs just crashing into the defense. And meanwhile, if you look onto the south, on the defensive front, I mean, Raslington's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 turrets down, very heavily spaced apart. And there's 0 bodies. In fact, we're going to see a few bodies.
There's 2 biters incoming.
Yep.
That's gonna hurt.
Crisis
like,
over,
not even-
boys.
Oh, we survived.
Yeah.
Let's look at North.
Carnage.
4 attacks, 20 plus biters. Well,
And he's almost at 30% as well. You know, 1% away. And we've hit we've hit mediums, right? 30 or 35.
I don't know.
I'd be able to tell you an hour ago, but like I said, my brain turned to soup about 2 hours ago. I haven't ever streamed 8 hours in a row before, so yeah, I've got another coffee in front of me, and I'm hoping that picks me back up off the ground. As we see another melee wave coming down from the north,
Is it a
crashing into the
single one?
defences of Clutch. And again, with some of the research that he's managed to do, the damage is relatively decent, so these bugs are dropping too. But later on, as we can see now, double waves coming in, maybe even triple waves, they'll start to overwhelm, and what we start to see is the first couple of waves don't need to really break through or make a breakthrough. They need to make like a dent, and as you can see here, a couple of the stone furnaces have gone down. That's all that the first wave really needs to do. Once they
Oh,
start
double
making
attack
these
from the right.
Ooh,
Double
that's big.
attack from the
Does he have
right.
enough defense?
Clutch is there. Clutch is there.
Lucky.
That's fine.
He doesn't need to use a grenade here though, surely.
Well, he had none.
Oh, has he used all of them? All 10?
Yeah, he's done with grenades.
Oh no.
So
And
yeah,
crouch?
and that now hurts, right? You lost 3 turrets. Spent a lot of ammo.
It's just carnage up on north. Meanwhile, south, it's like you just do what you want, you know. Have a little stroll in the park, and we're at 30% now for north. 1400 Biotis to deal with. Clutch isn't really able to build a ton. I'm not sure if Clutch has really sent a lot either.
Yeah, he sent nothing, but he fed his science again, which is important to get closer to his gates. So yeah, and he's preparing steel already.
Interesting. Does he weather the storm? Does he weather the storm? That's my main concern.
Well,
Research
there's
progress.
another 23 turrets and 250 ammo, because Resident is just chilling. Let's see, like if something breaks and you don't have grenades on you, you have like no, like, get out of jail free card, right? So, yeah.
Oh, Clapper Katana, thank you very much for the subscription. I really appreciate that. Thank you everybody also for joining me and Pitta for this final, a 1v1 tournament. You don't need to subscribe, you don't need to drop me a follow, just being here is more than enough. Thank you for joining me. I'm not really going to ask for any of that stuff. It's Christmas, so save your money, spend it on the people that you know and love. And if I'm one of them, give me all your money. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, so North looks to be going for gate research. It appears to me, and I've seen Clutch do this a few times, he's aiming for gates. The ammo belt will win, Arco.
Not quite sure.
So the gate production is a little scuffed. In terms of when you, so for instance, the yellow ammo is the most basic item that you can send, and as you can see, as a plate goes in, it takes a second or two and then it pops out again. We're on kind of medium power at the moment, yellowish bouncing power, but it takes about a second and a half to build. The gates somehow, and I don't know I don't know if we've looked at this before the tournament or if this is just normal, but the gates pop out very, very quickly, almost abnormally quickly for a tier 4 item. So I believe that once you can get a little flower of, gate production with the hand-fed boxes, you can end up with a few hundred in your inventory very quickly. And I think that's a strategy Clutch is trying to employ here. He's trying to weather the storm, upgrade his sentry gun, upgrade his turret, create this enormous wall that he's going to continually replenish, wait for the research to tick into gates, hand-feed green into this, and pray that he's not overwhelmed.
Gates are less expensive, they are cheaper, and they are faster to produce, but they are locked behind a lot of science. So mutagen wise they're the same.
Yeah.
So Clutch still has to catch up quite a lot because he's like 30% down Evo wise.
Yeah.
But yeah, like my main concern is Clutch has no grenades. Reslington has 10, or like I think 10. You start with 10.
And beyond that as well.
Yeah, he's still 10, so that's quite a difference.
How do you square that circle? Do you hand make a few whilst you've got a couple? Oh, Moist Noodle, welcome. We're into the final game. I've got my co-host with me, Pitta, and this is Factorio. I'm sure it's not the same as flying around in space and killing people. For anybody that doesn't know, Moist Noodle is a fantastic content creator. He makes loads of really cool videos about Star Citizen. And yeah, if you're into that kind of game, definitely give him a look. He's a very talented fighter pilot. Sorry, slight aside there. Yeah, welcome though. Thanks for joining. So yeah, is he going to be handcrafting grenades, do you think, Clutch? Or is this just a kind of I'm sticking with my gun turrets, I'm sticking with my initial plan, and I'm just waiting for the upgrades to come in?
No, like he's like an ammo belt is nice when it's full, but you get some kind of false sense of security, right? Because the belt is full, that decrease it, but you don't see it exactly. So you have to monitor it quite closely, and you can all of a sudden die because all of a sudden there's no ammo, and you need ammo, but there's no ammo, and you're dead.
And they do that weird little dance where they pop up and they shoot nothing.
Yeah, and
like meerkats waiting to be run over.
And that's quite hard to fix because then all of a sudden you don't have enough production to kill the biters that are incoming, and yeah, it can bridge a gap because you build buffer, but that can also be your downfall on an ammo belt. And not sure what he researched heavy armor, and now he's researching nothing.
Yeah, stop for now.
Don't like that. if your win condition is locked behind research, I think you should research.
Yeah, I mean, especially if you've got some time to waste. Not waste, sorry, but if you need to get down to military science, handcraft green, or even try and get weapon shooting speed out the way. So it's an interesting one. South, however, I feel like he's just set up. There's not a huge amount. Another couple of iron belts have gone across, but ultimately Razzington is just making turrets, sending turrets. Let's see how many he's made so far. Apologies guys, my voice is actually kind of going at the moment, so I'm trying not to talk too much. 385 turrets have been sent by South, and 2,280 yellow mags have gone away across as well. No sends from the north to the south either. So we're just absorbing pressure at all costs. But it's working. Raz is he's going for shooting one, or projectile damage one. Okay, interesting. I guess he just wants to play this out, you know?
We have only 2 left. That will take a while, but yeah, sure, why not keep it running?
You don't have anything to do, and you've got some red signs. I mean, it doesn't hurt at the very least.
Yeah. And now, the ammo belt is drying up, right? On the left side, it's not backed up anymore.
Got you.
He's hand feeding. Attacks don't decrease in intensity, so yeah, I'm a bit afraid. And as Carl pointed out, head admin and organizer, he needs to extend power.
Yeah.
And he does.
Bouncing around on yellow for far too long as well. I think I pointed this out about a minute or two ago, where you don't want to be yo-yoing or pogo sticking with your power if you can afford not to. And at the same time too, using yellow inserters. I mean, it's not done in our server, but I guess for speed, you just kind of stick down what you need, and that should hopefully see him through, because you're not going to have like more than, let me think about this, you're not going to have more than like 3 or 4 buildings making gates. So from here onwards, other than building a little bit of military science, I think Clutch is kind of set. I don't think we're going to see a ton more smelting or a ton more production. He probably needs more turrets to go down and a few more stone furnaces to go up. But I feel like Clutch is entering the phase where he might just be able to get this gate strategy off.
Yeah, he's researching gates. That's 100 signs. He's almost there.
He's making mill size so that he can get to... Oh, big waves. Huge waves coming in from the mill. I feel like some stone furnace replacement needs to happen. Some of these turrets are going to go down. You know, you need to start kind of thickening this out a little bit, otherwise you're going to be shedding defensive layers as this goes. And here we go, starting to stick a couple of furnaces down, thickening the defenses up. Another wave of these crashes into the gun turrets, but again, easily dispatched at this level. Even, see, 36%. It's pretty nuts if you think about it, because we're only 32 minutes into the game. But he's kind of slowly but surely knocking on the door of 40. And then from there, if he doesn't get gates off, and that Razzington decides to push to 50, 50 could be unlivable. You might not be able to live in that space with only a few gun turrets. So an interesting one, at the very least.
Why does game take so long? Oh, it's a 30-second research. Okay, so it needs quite some time.
Just pumping up the numbers, right?
So it needs like 5 minutes, so 4 more minutes until he can produce gates. Well, he's gonna be at like 42% there.
So you, last game, Pitta, you looked into your crystal ball and you called the game within 60 seconds of ending. I'm not asking you to pick a winner or a loser, but if the game plays out the way that you envisage it, that we've seen it so far, what kind of timing do you see this game ending at? I'm not going to ask you to call a winner, but or a loser, sorry.
Let me look at my wizard ball. I think it's gonna be 39 minutes.
39 minutes. So we're 6 minutes away from seeing somebody win it all or lose it all. The one thing I would say is that if Razzington was to see a jump, a spike in there... Actually, hang on a second. Can I talk about one more thing before we do get about this? Let's for instance just imagine I'm Clutch. The whole game Razzington has been throwing turrets at me. And I've got gates now. And I have hundreds of gates on me. I should realistically wait for him to throw those turrets at me, because then he has none in the base to create any defenses as the Evo ticks up and he begins to get attacked. So do you think that Clutch has thought about Razzington sending and then him counter-sending directly afterwards? Because he's effectively throwing something he could have used to defend himself with. Because there's not an enormous amount of turrets down at the moment. There's like spatterings, little kind of small groups of them. But if he was to be facing 38% bugs off the back of a large wave send, he doesn't have enough turrets to put down to defend himself, I don't think. After a large send, that is, after he rips all of them out of the chests.
Yeah, technically that's true, but like the delay between sending and getting biters is like 40 seconds minimum, I think.
Very true. And
So
again,
in this
he has
time-
grenades as well.
Tight timings, of course, but yeah, I'm not sure when clutch defense will break. Like Anti points out, he will need more than 50%, so big biters.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe the research with ammo damage, a lot of furnaces, and a lot of turrets which he currently has. Maybe it's enough, but having no grenades is just.
It's rough.
I'm yeah. Maybe I'm overselling that, but I think it's.
You want
Yeah.
to be using them in the worst possible moments when you absolutely need them, and with none, yeah.
Use them.
Another big throw from
for-
Raz. Let's take a
And
look
yeah,
at research.
40%, 40 to 50% is a really long stretch.
When the
mutagen
gates are
wise.
nearly upon us though, and without being too corny or without being too cheesy, with having gates research and building gates, the gates for a potential clutch win open up. Because at the moment they're very much closed. It very much looks like Raz is running away from with this, with the amount of bugs coming through and the amount of devastation they're causing the defences of the north. There's owning the gates, having the gates and sending the gates, open the gates for clutch to win. And for all of you cringing right now at that terrible analogy, that's completely fine.
And Clutch is preparing. He knows gates he is soon there,
Very
and he's preparing a lot of walls, which is great. Like very bad if you have like only iron and bricks. But yeah, he's prepared steel, he prepared walls, and then he can get he can use the 0.5 crafting time of gates, right?
Yeah. And what about, I mean, if I was him, and again, he's probably thinking about 1,000 different things. And as Josh said, clutch will clutch. Replenishing this defensive wall is important, very important. If the biters manage to flood through and start killing off these turrets, as we can see a few of them have been squashed here, pancaked into the ground, you lose that DPS for the next rave, and for the next rave. So some people are saying Razzle will dazzle, and some people are saying Clutch will live up to his namesake. But we can see if we zoom out, relatively large gaps, gouges into the defences that need to be replaced, that need to have a self-prepared...
Clutch research gates, prepared walls, and he has 6 great assemblers down.
Is this it? Are we starting to see gate time?
Is it? Is that the thing?
Is it gate time?
It is.
And how many do we send? I mean, if I'm Clutch, do I send the first 100? Do I send the first 2? The first 3? What's my play? Do I panic and just throw 50 to see the number of south jump?
I mean,
Gatekeeping time.
So you get mediums. I think that's a given. But if he throws like 100, I think you are there. But yeah, he's currently busy trying to replace stuff, right?
Yeah. Constantly ping-ponging between what he needs to do and what he doesn't want to do, which is obviously fix defense and get some gates down.
But he now picked up gates, so does he send?
Okay, here we go.
150. 250? Yeah, that's a lot.
And
But
as you can
that's
see,
still...
I mean, normally they get ejected out into a box, but the building time of these gates are quite ridiculous. Very, very fast. So for a tier 4 item, to have them build as quick as they do... Oh, he's got some grenades, so he must have been handcrafting in the background, surely.
No, there's 6 assemblers in the middle of the base.
Oh, see, yeah,
Cool.
sorry, my eyeballs. I've been casting all day. My apologies if I miss a couple of bits and pieces. And for the
There's
first
the
time,
scent.
at
There's
38
the scent.
minutes, Clutch sends 261 gates, forcing the mutagen, or the evolution, of South to jump by 19.9%, we'll call it 20, around 20, and to increase the amount of bugs to 2,658, so yeah, really interesting send, and Razington I think can absorb that, I think he can wear that, but another big send of 200? I'm not so sure.
I mean, Red now has to realize he has to put turrets down, put ammo into it, and not send. But it's also his win con, right? Like, Raz has to... Like what he did before, he could send stuff and not defend, but now he has to switch gears a bit.
Yeah.
And Clutch is different, right? Because you need... Okay, you need gear, which could be ammo, but you need bricks, which you don't use for offense or defense.
So my question is now, have we seen a game where... Most of the games I've seen, Razlington has been relatively dominant and in the lead. There have been some mistakes made and a couple of misplays, but generally speaking, from the moment he starts taking an advantage with these small sends, He's kind of in command of the game, in the driving seat. Have we seen a game where somebody else then dictates the pace? Oh, thank you, Typo. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate you. I hope you're having a great weekend. This is the first game of the best of 3, and as we can see now, Clutch is really just focusing on defending and waiting for these gates to be built. Meanwhile...
Oh, big wraparound, and he needs to use nades, but he has nades, so that's fine.
I think Clutch has survived. I think Clutch might have clutched this.
He's fine. And we see the Evo gap is closing a lot, very lot. It's only 12% more.
So
but the question is Clutch running out of buffered stuff?
Yes,
or is he not?
very good point.
I think there's no walls. But there's a bunch more gates in the centers. So after spending all his buffers, he's like 9% down.
And another send again. 86 gates to across, 2.5% increase, but the amount of bugs that are piling up on the south, 4,000 now, 4,200, and it's a number that Raz hasn't yet had to deal with, as we can see him fleshing out his gun turret line. What I'm slightly worried about for Raz, if I'm looking at this with a defensive eyeball, is the very fringes of your defense. Some of these bugs may bypass, so not all of the bugs magnetically get pulled in if they spot something they can kill.
And Raz is on the other side. Oh, that could
turret 1 goes down, so we're starting to lose infrastructure again. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8. And that's one wave, guys. This is one wave.
Grenade! Yes, those grenades are keeping him alive now.
But that's 10 turrets. 10 turrets from one wave. Now, the question I had was, let's say a wave hits a much wider angle, so it comes from a further out distance and misses this initial... Oh yeah, we're counting nades of Razington, aren't we? Because he's not making them, right?
Yep, we need to count nades again. He is green science research this time, but not military again. Like steel and military are missing. And he's still going for physical damage, which probably won't finish with the 2 laps.
So we're currently sat on 6 grenades. And then that's it. The south don't have much more than that. Meanwhile up north, Clutch is still having to do a massive defensive job. He's not out of the woods yet. He's still dealing with 45% bugs, which is nothing to sniff at. These turrets are going to start struggling, even with a couple of grenades. The argument I could probably you could make potentially... Oh, here we go. He's researching stronger nade explosions. You could potentially work on weapon speed. Purely just if you have extra red signs lying around, potentially, and you have no aims to go any deeper into the tech tree, you know, you could potentially lock that in. But at this point in time, I believe Clutch is starting to really start. Yeah, double wave on south now on Razington. And he's starting to feel a little bit of that pressure that he's been putting down onto Clutch now.
Yeah, triple wave. He's not there, no nades. Yeah.
I'm impressed by
Clutch. Ladder battles.
I'm really impressed by Clutch surviving up to about 40-ish% before he managed to really make a play. These waves, I mean that was a triple wave to be fair, it was pretty devastating. They just cut through the straight line of the Razing's defense. And maybe the kind of quite chaotic placement of the North's furnaces is working in their favor, because there are gaps that open up and channel them into different directions, forcing the wave to naturally split up, rather than like an arrowhead forcing its way through a piece of armor. It's like a shotgun blast where it spreads out across an entire defensive line, and then they get picked off one by one, rather than like a spearhead going through. What a game though so far. For a first game for finals, I think we've seen, Razing to take the lead, Clutch under a ton of pressure, followed by what I would assume is a bit of a swing, a bit of a momentum swing.
Yeah, the attacks that just hit, they're gonna keep coming, and yeah. If Raz is gonna lose infrastructure like that and nades, don't really see a way that he can hold that for much longer. And Clutch is fine. He has nades, he has production, and he has the cheaper sending item now with nades. He has like another 100 that he can send, or like 80.
The other thing as well is that you're now sending an item that you're losing during these runs. So if you're constantly sending turrets in order to push north up and up and up, when you get raided and the bugs make like all the way through, you're going to need to replenish and replace these, but instead you're going to be throwing them. So it's an interesting dynamic to find ourselves in. Does he have upgrades? He has one upgrade for damage, but it's 0.8. Whereas I believe Clutch has 0.23, so it's 5 plus 2, 3 damage. So Clutch is getting more bang for his buck, if that makes any sense. Getting more damage output for the same tower, and another wave just floods directly through the open hole, forcing themselves on top of some of the empty turrets as well as the one still firing. Razzington is running away in between his assembly machines, as little by little the bugs are chewing through.
And there's a double wave coming into the same hole again.
Oh, frightening.
Yeah. Is he out of nades already? He's out of nade. And that's gonna be it.
So we were talking about adaptation at the beginning of this game, and whether or not a playstyle like this has adaptation at the beginning. So we see the double Gs, that'll be game 1, going to Clutch. It looks like. Obviously it's not over till it's over. Razzlington has called GG's. As he dies by his assemblers.
Can't do stuff. Like he can place another 10 turrets, put ammo in it, but the next wave is gonna kill it again.
Yeah.
Like he can't increase his pressure anymore, and he's losing infrastructure. That's not a way to go. Yeah, and the key was grenades. Like last time he was pretty certain that he can just put down more turrets, put down more ammo, but yeah, I don't see that. Like it could have worked if he had more furnaces, but he didn't get them down.
I think overall, a relatively good first game in the best of 3. It didn't end very quickly, so it wasn't like a 10 minutes like cheese fest where somebody just manages to hit a certain timing and get a certain outcome early on. I believe Razzlington for like 90% of this game has been in control, or in the lead at the very least. But yeah, once gates were locked in, or unlocked, I need to come up with less gate puns, this is terrible. Once the gates were introduced into the game, the momentum swing was too hard and too fast. You know,
Yeah,
it started to
and
spin out of control.
the key was that Clash got because of the gate research in military 2. You get grenades, you put down some assemblers, and could throw them at biters in a furnace wall. And Razzlington threw 10, and when he was down, he was dead.
Yeah. Good game, and I think we're on for a good series here. I don't really envisage a 2-0. What would be nice to see, there's no surrender button unfortunately, but the kind of notification that you've lost is in a big nuclear explosion, so you know, that pretty much is a GG's. And game 1 goes to Clutch. That was pretty good, I'm not gonna lie, 47 minutes as well. A bit of a roller coaster this one. That was a nice first game, yeah.
Now the question is, can Razzlington change his approach? Or can he be faster? But I don't see him applying more pressure at the game, because the map was quite good for his strat.